Alright, I decided to make another tutorial to supplement my first tutorial. I learned a lot in the day and a half, 2 days that I've been playing. Alright, first things first. Alright, and there's the starting area. Normally there's a gate, closed gate here, and that guy will open it for you. And that's the tutorial area, the last bit of the tutorial area. So when you come in here, you'll ask him to open the gate. When you come in here and the gate opens, this guy right here sells undead heads. Buys undead heads, and you'll be farming those at the graveyard. The regular ones go for like 10 silver apiece, and the more rare one from some zombies go for like 30 silver apiece. So it's really good. It's a really good starting place to get some money. Alright, you don't have to talk to him. You want to go to the graveyard and you can follow the signs, but I'll show you that later. Alright, here's the marketplace. And in here are tutors. This is a utility vendor. There's some more utility vendors, but here's where you buy the axe and the pick to be able to chop wood and mine rocks and ore and stuff. Arrows are quite expensive. That's pretty expensive for one arrow. So if you're doing bow, here's where you get the arrows. I have not figured out where campfires are yet, but players have been dotting campfires around all over the place. So, and other players will sell stuff like pig meat if you want to cook some pig meat. Now, to cook meat, I can't remember because I died after my tutorial and lost everything. I think they give you a cooking pot with the tutorial, but here you can buy a baking pot. Now when you're buying stuff, you actually have to put your money up. Where was that pig meat? Okay. You actually have to put your money into the window, and it'll automatically give you the change. Okay. Now, the reason you want to cook is to get hunger down. You cannot sleep at campfires if your hunger is above 1080. And that's a really big deal, because when you start getting more hungry, when you're not resting, these gray bars will continually increase and decrease your maximum stats here. So you want to sleep and rest by campfires to get rid of that and to increase the health that you lose. And thirst governs mana. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Apparently I'm very thirsty, and I don't see a gray bar on the thirst, so I don't know how that works. Here you can lock skills that increase. Like, I'm not going to be using intelligence much. I'm actually gonna... Why can't I change that? Okay, I should be able to change that. That might be some kind of bug. Okay, it might be actually changing and I'm not picking it up for some reason, but that shit happens. Okay, cooking, okay. You can eat raw meat, but it's not nearly as good as cooking it. So you just put your cooking pot in the tool, and your pig meat, and you can throw anything you want. You can just do the pig meat by itself. Man, I got 5 of whatever that is. Amanita, Muscaria. Oh, okay, that was the mushrooms that I put in there or whatever. Alright, now when you consume something, if you have like 300 of a consumable, it'll keep on consuming it until you stop. And the only way I figured out how to stop is just to start moving around. So keep that in mind when you're lowering your hunger. You have like 500 hunger and 300 of food, you're gonna go to 0 hunger and you're just gonna be wasting food. And that's with all consumables. It'll just keep on eating and drinking it. Alright, and the tutors. You want to go to this gathering tutor and learn how to mine and chop wood. And then you get from the utility vendor, you'll get the workbench vendor. I guess that's for houses. Now, I've heard conflicting reports that free-to-play players cannot build houses, and I've heard that they can, so I don't know which one it is, and I'm not going to worry about that because I'm fresh to the game. Okay, alright, the utility vendor, you want to get the pickaxe and the axe so you can start chopping wood and mining. Okay, barrel vendor. You'll see barrels dotted about. Sometimes players are pretty cool and they'll put barrels with loot in them around the gameplay area, and you can loot some pretty good stuff sometimes. Alright, there's the library. You do not have to go in that library. There's 3 NPCs out there that you can buy books from and learn skills. That's the main way to learn skills. Like I'm gonna get the writing skill first. And all the other skills like workcraft skills, crafting skills. You can do. You can get a tailoring book, bowery. Now you can do these yourself. You can just start crafting bows and stuff. Okay, there's fletchery to make arrows. I'm probably gonna start doing that. Now these sub skills, like you can unlock the bowery by just trying to craft bows, but who knows what the components are? I don't. And seek knowledge and subject in a book. Okay, so you might have to. A lot of the skills you do have to actually get the book. Now when you read a book, it takes a long time to read it. My book just actually must have just finished a few seconds ago because I saw the book icon. But you want to read a book. I did buy a player book and I wanted to tell people, okay, reading. I'm gonna read the book about reading to up my reading skill so my reading times will be faster. I did buy a player book that I don't see where it is. Did I lose it? I didn't get killed yesterday though. Okay, but alright, there are player published books. And to read them, you'll right click on them. And to read them, it'll be a book like this big. And to read them, you have to left click and drag the far corner of it, like the far edge of it, and it'll open the book. It took me a long time to figure that out. But, okay, see, that's just a skill book that I'm starting to read. And down here, 1 day, 1 hour, and you'll complete reading the book. Now I'm assuming that the reading skill itself will start increasing and then the time will decrease to read books. That's why I'm doing it. Alright, these campfires, I've not figured out where to buy campfires. Apparently you can buy campfires. You want to sleep because it's 10 times faster. But again, you have to have the hunger below 1080. Alright. This is the way to the graveyard. One thing to keep in mind is around town, you'll see players getting attacked by guards. That means they have a gray shield instead of a blue, or a red shield. And you can loot those players once they die. If you see a guard attacking somebody, frickin' follow them until they get killed and loot their shit. Alright, here's the priest that you'll resurrect if you die in the graveyard or anywhere else for that matter, for the time being. Graveyard's right up here. Now, players will attack you sometimes for no fucking reason. Those are probably established players. They'll attack you in the graveyard. But there are players that are guarding, it seems like. Obviously, I don't know for sure, but it seems like there are other established players that are guarding and will attack people who are attacking lobies. So here's the graveyard. Now that the Matt Moore's loot is blue. The the name is actually blue. The text is blue. So if you loot it, taking this as a criminal act, your shield will turn gray and anybody can attack you. You do not want that. Now you can risk it if they have good loot. Like there was an established player that got killed here who was blue. So another player just came in and killed him, and he had a lot of good stuff on him. Ah, jeez. I didn't show you where the bank was. It was right there by that campfire back there. There's the auction house and banks and a bank person in there, bank NPC in there. But anyway, there was a player that got killed right here, and there was another guy that was about to fight the guy who killed him. Well, there's about a gaggle of 20 people around here watching to see if the fight would break out, and there was a bunch of other people. Like for a minute or so, we were all looking at the corpse, wanting that freaking corpse. And so a fight broke out between two established players, and they ran this way, and everybody chased them. And like I just grabbed the loot and ran into those bushes right there and waited for my shield to turn back to blue, and it only takes 2 minutes for it to turn back to blue. But yeah, anyway, in the user preferences, right here, you can choose thrust attack as your default attack. That is advisable for this, because it's much easier to control. If you hold Alt, it'll turn into a slash attack. It is weaker, but it's much easier to control, so you don't hit other players, and other players will try and walk in front of you to flag you as a gray so they can attack you without penalty. If you didn't know, if you attack a gray player, see that's gray, you can attack without penalty. Those you can't attack at all. And blues, you get flagged as gray, and anybody can attack you. Yeah, that's the slash attack, and then I got thrust as default because it's far easier to control, and you won't hit players accidentally. You will, but not as much. Alright, somebody just got killed. See, it's a criminal act to take his stuff, and he has a lot of stuff, but it doesn't look like he has much good stuff. See, if I wanted to risk it, I could loot him and then just run, but he doesn't have much good stuff. Portable campfire, definitely want that. Dice, ooh, I want dice. Hey, somebody killed him, that means they're gray. But anyway, yeah, it's just some basic gameplay tips. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it in the other video, I was experiencing bad stuttering. Yeah, I did. I was talking about it not being optimized, but I tweaked it in my NVIDIA control panel, and there is 0 stuttering now, and the game is running perfectly smooth. I'll try and do a video about that, but I don't know if you can notice, but there's some UI flickering. And once I figure out what setting did that, then you can use the help chat for another 38 hours. Are they stopping the help chat, I guess? The UI is flickering until I figure out what that is. And I won't post the video, but I'll try and get that video out as soon as possible for the game, graphics tweaks. Alright, I think that is it. All I had to say. That thing I mentioned about the plus and minus. This is what permanently reduces the skill, and you can see I have 629 out of 1100 remaining. So when that starts to weathering down, I don't have many skill points remaining, then you can reduce it and other areas that you don't need. This will lock it as you go. This will decrease it incrementally, and that'll increase it incrementally as you go. Some skills just increase just walking around. Sometimes you'll see anything. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much all the skills that I had, all the tips that I had. You can activate these in the user preferences. All these hotbars. Oh yeah, bows. You do not aim bows. Damn it, I had some arrows yesterday. I must have died. You do not aim bows. Of course, I don't have any arrows, so I don't know if I can draw them. Yeah. You do not aim bows at the crosshair. You aim it at the tip of the arrow. That's where you're going to hit, at the tip of the arrow. Okay, and for riding, you have to buy the riding skill book to be able to ride mounts. And you can get mounts by working on your taming skill. I guess you can go tame pigs and rabbits and stuff in the starter area, and work on your taming skill that way. Or you can just buy from players who have taming skills. I'm sure there are plenty of players, if you ask, that will sell you a mount. I saw one person in chat say they just bought a donkey for 2 silver, so that's nothing. Again, you want to get the skeleton undead heads and go sell them to that guy over there. Whenever you loot somebody and you get some good stuff, go back to the bank and put it up in the bank so you don't freaking lose it. You know, get 5 or 6 heads, and you got some decent gear that may be looted from a player that got killed. Go put it in the bank, go sell the heads, and come back. And then when you get the balls to venture out into the world, maybe you'll have some good stuff. Like I got a good spear and a good sword and some good armor, and I think I'm almost ready to start going into the world as soon as I buy a mount. Alright, that's some basic gameplay tips. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in game. Happy hunting.